Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms. So let's get into your March reading. I will first talk a little bit about the astrology because there's a lot going on, and then I will get into the cards. So on the 2nd of the month, we have Mercury, the planet of the mind, moving into Pisces, which is very lucid, gentle, and in a water sign. It is less effective in the sense that it's not very rapid paced, but it does go through it in a very divine timing. So we can really trust on that. So the ideas that you get, or the communication you have, or the rejections you have, whatever the case is, it has a very divine connotation to it. So it's more likely to be in the right place, in the right time, with the right people when Mercury is here. Then Mercury will move into Aries. It's moving really fast throughout this month. That'll be on the 19th. And this is where it's feeling a lot more boosted. It has taken the rest in Pisces, and in Aries, it's ready to go and take action, take initiation on projects, kind of brainstorm even more. So it's kind of amped up to sort of make up for all the times that it was relatively slower while it was in Pisces. So what else? Yes, we have a full moon in Virgo. That's on the 7th. And that's going to be about culmination, completion, fulfillment, things underneath the surface, like underlying health issues, for example, or issues with our lifestyle, routines, dissatisfaction with any of those things are more likely to pop up to the surface for examination and changes, which is what usually happens around the full moon. And on the same day, we have Saturn moving into Pisces, which is a big deal. It was there in Aquarius for 3 years, and it will be in Pisces for 3 years. So the planets that take longer to transit through something, they usually have a long-term impact as well. They have a deeper impact too. So Saturn is the planet of restrictions, but it does so in a very purposeful manner. Okay, so certain things are just unnecessary. Okay, in many areas of our lives, there are many things that are just completely unnecessary and absolutely pointless, and we know it as well, but we have trouble changing and shifting out of it. So Saturn is a planet that helps us cut back on certain things that are not good for us, or that are just not enjoyable as well anymore. We just stick to it because it's habitual. So yes, restriction, but in a very purposeful manner, so we can make more space for things that we actually find, meaning from, or fulfillment and joy from. Saturn is also about authority, so there can be certain changes we make in our inner authority. When it comes to Pisces, we can be making changes we might be creating structures out of things that are very unstructured. Okay, so exercise, yeah, sometimes I do it, sometimes not. Sometimes I eat healthy, but sometimes whatever, things like that, where we're kind of wishy-washy about things. Saturn might be impacting those areas and saying, okay, we can't be too wishy-washy about it. Flexibility is okay, but so is structure, right? There needs to be a good balance here. So it's a very nice opportunity for each and every one of us to find that level of structure in some place that is absolutely vague at this point in time. So yes, we have that coming through. In the 3rd week, we have a lot going on, a lot of aspects the planets are making with each other. I will not get into it. I will post them on my community page. So if you are interested, you can subscribe, hit the bell. You will be notified whenever it goes up. I will mention on the 16th, we have Venus moving into Taurus, which is a very nice placement. Venus rules Taurus, so it's super happy there. There can be new revelations you have regarding your self-security, things where, you have become stagnant and restricted. Venus can come in and bless those areas. For you, if you're going by the rising sign, then Taurus is in your 12th house, so there can be spiritual blessings and, better sleep, for example, more of a restful energy, calmer vibe, where you can understand and process things that have been unprocessed. Okay, Venus brings in opportunities from unknown sources, random gifts, random opportunities and connections can form. You might not know where did it come from. Did I really sign up for it? Something you've forgotten about, that can come around as well in a very wonderful manner. Then on the 20th, we have the spring equinox 2021, depending on where you live. But either way, the sun moves into Aries, and that's a new zodiac season, and it's basically the new year in an astrological sense, since Aries is the first zodiac. So this is going to boost all of us up. The collective energy is just going to be like, okay, let's go out, let's do things. We've thought about a lot, we've understood ourselves a lot, and it's time to put those things into action. Aries is about action, right? Right next to you, we have a new moon in Aries as well, which adds that extra oomph. Okay, it gives you the courage, the bravado, and you can take initiative in whichever area of life you want. It's the newest of the newest beginnings, basically, this time around, 21st. So if you have some area of life where you want to make major sweeping change, this would be a perfect time to get that started. Okay, so maybe do the planning beforehand, but take action beyond 19th. Then on the 23rd, another huge thing is happening. Pluto is moving into Aquarius. This is going to stay here for 20 years. Not from now. It's just going to give us a little bit of a trailer in 2023 by dipping in there and then going back. But 2024 till 2044, it's going to be in Aquarius. So wherever Aquarius is for you, you can see the chart in the image. And that's where it is going to be purging, transforming, regenerating, raising you up from the ashes as a phoenix. That's what Pluto does. Anything that is unacknowledged, the shadow realm, things like that, which are repressed, suppressed, and we kind of deny within ourselves, that is going to come up. Okay, for re-examination, for transformation, because if we are going to be strong souls who are ready to take on anything, create anything we want, we got to be kind of in alignment within ourselves. Like that's the first basic thing we got to do, right? So Pluto ensures that that's what is happening, that we're constantly evolving and growing. So things that were established way back, like subconscious patterns, projections, limitations, conditioning, all of those things which were not in our hands at that time, that is going to, but we still have been reacting to it. Pluto is going to bring those topics up and be like, are you sure we're going to continue like this? Is this good for us? Is this, beneficial to the rest of our life? Is this a good call? And there are going to be many things that are going to be, no, that's not so great. I'm not really proud of that, not happy about it, but I don't know how to change it. And Pluto's like, that's not an issue. Pluto is the planet of change, so it will tell you how you can create the changes. It will bring in, again, the right people and the right resources you can read, learn, watch, and experiment from. So really major stuff. Throughout this week, we'll be feeling that. There might be a feeling of urgency or an impending change, basically. I feel like something is shifting, but I don't quite know what. That kind of vibe. Then on the 25th, another major thing, Mars is moving away from your zodiac, Gemini, to Cancer. So that is going to be benefiting your financial sphere or your material realm. You might be more driven to form closer emotional bonds. Your emotions are more likely to come up to the surface. Again, if you've been suppressing them, it will be bubbling up again, despite whatever resistance you put up, and if you're not resisting it, then you're just going to become more and more clear of what is truly a priority for you. But it's absolutely a nice time to emotionally declutter our lives around this time. So yeah, take that in a positive manner. That's how you basically transform it. Use what is available, and it suddenly shifts from a passive-aggressive behavior to something emotionally very balanced, fulfilling, and stable, right? So Mars is the planet of action. We might be, again, more driven to move towards our family or take care of our home, purchase something for your home perhaps, shift to another place that is economically more feasible and also fulfilling, things like that. It plays out in a more mundane manner, but just overall our sense of energy might be less mental and more emotional. So if you don't feel like doing something, then it's possible that you don't do it at all. Okay. Meanwhile, when Mars is in Gemini, if you think of an idea, you're spurred into action. Okay. It's more about the mind, but now it's about the emotions. So pay attention to that, regulate your moods, plan it, whatever it is that helps you kind of understand yourself and therefore play along with it to make the most out of this. Now, in the last week as well, we have a couple of aspects going on. I will not talk about it. If you're interested, it will be in the community page as the days come in. Okay, so let's see your cards. What's the major theme for you? yeah, we have change. We talked a lot about this. So lunar eclipse with change, and honestly, I've done 4 zodiacs so far, and 3 of them, including you, are getting change here. So not surprising, major shifts taking place this month, full of activity, twists and turns, new revelations, reprioritizing. We're on board. It feels like a really new year and a fresh start, honestly, this particular month. So yes, major changes. Then the first highlight we have here is unicorn, which says use your intuition to make beneficial changes. Yeah, because this is where Venus is for you. It's really blessing that spiritual department. So as much as you can, try to spend some time in silence or listening to yourself, kind of attune yourself to your inner voice. Don't ignore it when it clearly says don't do that, specifically for this month, because you have this particular card coming up. And it can even indicate that you're getting nudges, mysterious nudges and pulls to go a certain direction or to talk to a certain person. It can be just really confusing in the moment because the conscious doesn't understand. But go with it, because there might be some rare opportunities or rare finds you might get. Okay, then we have diamond, and the first thing I hear is diamond in the rough. It says you'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. Yeah, okay. So yes, that's likely, like the mysterious things that was coming up, but also when Mars is moving into the 2nd house, you might be compelled to spend on something that makes you feel happy and fulfilled. You might be either spending it or getting a gift, depending on individual circumstances. And with the diamond in the rough, I was getting that you don't expect to find something valuable in a certain place, but you feel drawn to go and explore that area or that connection, and you see that it's so much more. So you can't judge a book by the cover, whether it is a place, person, or opportunity in general. So if it feels right, then don't ignore that. That's what's coming through. Okay, then we have December, Sagittarius, Capricorn. It can be someone in your life that's influential. It can be that you've started something in December, or you have been dealing with something since December, and there is a change in that particular area. It's also the 12. So 12s talk about kind of guidance and support, angelic influences. It can also talk about deep introspection, and that leading to an ending of sorts and the beginning of a new chapter. Okay, with that we have flowers, which says happiness. So that's very nice to hear. Intuition, gifts or blessings, and happiness. These are the major highlights for you. Okay. Then we have the 8 of Cups, which, honestly, amazing. It talks about purging and releasing things emotionally and psychologically that are not beneficial for you, like old conditioning, whether you did that yourself or societally induced, or some trauma happened, or from family, community, whatever it is, things that are just pulling you back and limiting you and telling you that you can't expand and you are not deserving of something. Those things you're walking away from. It can also be if you're trying to move on from a relationship, it is possible to let go fully and move on to the next chapter of your life, basically. Then we have the Knight of Swords, which is really nice to see here. It says that you're very determined and you're bold and courageous as well. It can be in a shadow side impulsive, so impulsive purchasing of things or drastic movements or change in plans that can happen. But yeah, if it is not feeling right, like I said, it's more going to be about the feeling. Okay, if it doesn't feel or sit well with you, then just think about it a little bit more, or kind of ponder on where that is coming from. If you feel like the end goal is nice but you're holding yourself back, then yeah, there's some more digging to be done. But yes, there can be some quick changes in your external environment as well. There can be someone impulsive in your environment, might not be you, and their decision making can feel a little bit erratic. So once again, if it doesn't feel right, try to either get yourself out of the situation or convey it to the person. Okay, you might also get a lot of ideas. When a planet is, changing signs, it's usually like amped up in both zodiacs. Okay, so Mars moving from Gemini is going to give you the last rush of ideas. You might get 10 million ideas all at once, and then it moves into Cancer where it's like, okay, well, what do you feel like now? Right? It's sort of that. Both kind of play a role here. So you might get a lot of ideas, make a lot of plans. There can be some strategy involved, organizing things, making calls, building connections, things like that to make something happen. Okay. And then we have the Lovers, which is your card. This corresponds with Gemini. And this can talk about major choices. And once again, if you're moving out or moving on from a relationship, it's very likely that you move on from someone, you're ready to meet someone new, and you might meet someone right away. Okay. But I feel like if you are moving on from someone, it's been a while anyway. So yeah, it's likely to meet someone important in this particular month if you're looking for love. Apart from that, Lovers talks about commitment and also choosing a very meaningful path. So it's a big decision. Okay, it's a big decision. But more so I'm getting like just in general changes that you're making are leading to like big changes in the long run. Right? So it can be a small change like a lifestyle or your thought process, but you're more likely to commit to it because it just sits well with you, it feels right, and you just continue doing that, and that leads to better health or physically, mentally, emotionally, more stability in relationships, meeting the right people, or shifting workplaces, and you see that the new place that you get into is just the very best, something of that sort. Lovers just talks about having the right fit, finding the perfect fit, which is balancing and supportive, but it's not the same as you. So you are still your individual self, and the person or circumstance is helping you grow even more while growing itself. Okay, very nice. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles. It talks about developing your skills in your craft, being very focused, determined, to get something done. It's putting in your heart and soul into something as well, just doing it so good and not being afraid to spend as much time as is needed to make it perfect by your standards, for your expectations, as best as you can. So you might be very involved in your workplace, or again, it talks about shifting your lifestyle and routines such that you're feeling more energized throughout the day, more equipped to deal with stress or restlessness. More stability comes in, you're more focused throughout the day, things like that. And it again talks about little changes, but doing it every single day, and that makes way for very large sweeping shifts in your life in general. Yes. Also, it indicates that you might be going for job interviews and showcasing your skills in some way, presenting yourself. And in that case, Explorer of Swords or the Knight of Swords is a very nice card to get. It means that you are presenting yourself very confidently. You're coming across like a go-getter, and you're kind of arising confidence in not just yourself, but everyone that is observing you. It's like they trust that you can do it. Okay? So that's nice. But you're absolutely putting in the work. This confidence is not coming out of the blue. You're putting in the work. You have put in the effort. You have the skills, and you're having faith in the way of things. Okay, then we have the Queen of Swords, which is once again a very fabulous card to get. For you being an air sign, these two cards being here is excellent. It indicates that you have very nice communication skills. You can network effectively. You are perhaps taking advantage of previous connections and contacts as well. You have, not in a weird way, not in a negative way, but like, if they have opportunities, you have good connections and a good bond to ask and, make something out of it. You have good diplomatic skills as well. And like I said, presentation, managing, strategy, all of these things are absolutely on point. So yes. And if you are looking for mentors, the Queen of Swords indicates that you might find a boss who is very strict about, rules, and might seem very detached and unemotional, not very fun on the surface. But inside, they're like that for a reason. They mean business. Basically, they have worked really hard to get where they are, and they have just insane intelligence, okay? So they can see something from a great distance. They don't have to move too much, but somehow they observe everything. It's like, you know, those people, you're like, do you have eyes in the back of your head or something? How do you know that? How do you hear that? How do you sense that? Yeah, it's that type of vibe that's coming through. So if you're shifting jobs, you might find someone like that. But they're absolutely very, very skilled. You can learn so much from them. It doesn't mean that they're not compassionate, but there's no point in showcasing a lot of emotions. That's their perspective. But if you want to learn something and you have the skill, this person is the ideal mentor to have. They're also very aspirational. Now, if this is not about the job or looking, I give the example of job, it's just a big generic thing that we all do, but it doesn't have to be specifically a job place. It might be a course you're taking as well, and you need mentors in that way, some spiritual studies you might be doing, or just about anything you're trying to learn. The articles you read, or YouTubers you might find, or podcasters, something that just give you very valuable insight. That's my point. If this is not resonating, Queen of Swords can talk about you being in that mentor position where you are conveying your ideas and thoughts, and you've worked a lot on this, you have plenty of experience, so you now know how to convey it in a very composed, efficient manner. Okay? Next, we have make a mission statement for your soul. Once again, very bold and courageous coming through. Once you have your eyes locked on something, go for it. Then we have you are living poetry. You can be quite expressive. I'm not really getting artistic as such, but you're expressive. You're being very clear about what your needs and desires are. You're sticking to it. You're committing to it. You're conveying it to the right people in the right way, which is so important. It can be that you're sensing what the other person wants more efficiently than before. Okay, so someone else's mindset, their psychology, that's really powerful here. You have some good skills coming through. Okay, then we have flight, which is kind of reiterating what we said, but yeah, you're taking some initiative towards something and you're making a big leap forward. Yeah, talk about big leap forward. We have gravitational acceleration. If you've not been seeing any developments in something, you have put in a lot of effort and you might be feeling a little bit discouraged. It looks like in the first half itself, with the Eight of Cups, you're moving on from that type of mentality that it's not working, what am I doing wrong, do I not deserve this, or did I not put in enough work, do I have to do more, etc. All of that self-doubt or self-insecurity, you're working through that, and it's like you make a major decision. There's something that just clicks and sticks with you, and it makes a major change in your mindset and communication with yourself and your expression outside as well. And that kind of breaks open the doors. You're more proactive to go out there and share your voice and your messages, and that's what is bringing in even more quickly the desires or the goals, the manifestations that you have set out for. Then we have Fox P2, which talks about communication being the key. So in whatever, I gave you already many examples, but it is reiterating the same thing, so I'm not going to talk about it once again. Communication is absolutely your forte. You being a communication zodiac, not surprised. So can be a very social month. It seems a little bit formal, or in a romantic context. Okay, so getting to know someone, that is possible. Or it is, but you're still like getting to know, so you're not that close yet. Or it can be in a professional sense. It can even be simultaneous, depending on, again, where you are in life, what you're looking for in life, and so on. Okay, so Geminis, please, March. 12th house, North Node, and Aries. Aries has repeated so many times. I guess that season is going to be very important for you, but even apart from that, it just says, network, go out there, make new friends, and connect with like-minded people. You might find new communities as well. You might be leaving behind a group of friends that you no longer resonate with. It doesn't mean that, they're bad people or something. It's just you're in different places now. So, reprioritizing or reconnecting with different people so you feel heard and understood. So do the others as well. Now with the 12th house, it talks about the releasing of control and surrendering to the flow of things. Okay, yeah, that is really going on with the whole purging old emotions, things like that. The North Node talks about pursuing something that is a little bit uncomfortable, but you know you're going to grow so much. So going back to school after you've left school for a very long time, that is one of those examples. It can also be that you've done a lot in a practical sense. You've put in a lot of skills behind the scenes, and now it's time to go out there and be really social and proud about what you have done, basically. Showcase it in a very wonderful light, because your work deserves to be seen. And it might be uncomfortable, or vice versa, you know. Doing something that's uncomfortable but is going to bring you so much fulfillment and long-term gains. That's kind of the North Node, basically. 12th house also talks about that spiritual part. So if you're more driven in a spiritual sense, there can be big revelations, synchronistic events, guides and mentors, materials that you find here that takes you forward in that direction. So yes, that's what I have for you, Geminis. A lot going on for you guys. I really hope the messages resonated and that it helps you out. Let me know your thoughts. And if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.